Yeah.
Okay, it's recording.
Okay,
Thank
perfect.
you.
Okay, so you said first start out with my health and how I got into it?
How you got started with Plexus and then your health testimony.
Yeah, okay, so my dad, Rick, he is my coach, and he got me started with it. So I was super, super skeptical of the whole just taking supplements and taking products, because I've tried everything out there, and just nothing worked out. So I have some health history, and my dad said, you got to try this stuff. It'll help with everything. Um, and I was like, yeah, no, probably not. Thank you, though. So I pushed him off for probably like a month and a half. And he's like, okay, you know what? I'll pay for your first month. Just do it. I was like, okay. So I was like, why not? So they helped me out, and they paid for the first month of my products, and just to like get me to do it. And from then I was hooked. I felt better than I ever have in my entire life. I have struggled with a lot of fatigue and gut issues, and a lot of issues. I've had a bunch of procedures done and surgeries, and I just never felt good until I started Plexus. So I have energy. I don't have sugar cravings anymore. My gut, I used to take Miralax every single day, or I wouldn't go to the bathroom. And I have not taken Miralax in 12 months. Yay! And I have a normal GI system, and I mean, the list goes on. But that's kind of how I got into it. In the first month, I wasn't really going to sell or promote these products. Not sell, I share. And I mean, I loved them so much that I just needed everyone else to know that these products work, and there's something out there that can help. And now here I am. So yeah, that's kind of how I first got into Plexus. Is my dad.
Well, that's awesome. Thank you, Rick. And your dad's an amazing team leader, and he's just awesome.
Oh yeah.
He's so fun. So, okay. So how did you start promoting to your friends? Did you do a business page? Do you do it on your personal page? How do you go about looking for new customers?
Yeah, I do it all on my personal page. So I first was going to start, and I was going to start a personal, like a business page, but I figured I'm going to have to invite people, and then they're going to have to like it in order to see my stuff. So I just thought I might as well just do it all on my personal page. So I do it all on Facebook, and then I also have Instagram and Snapchat. So I kind of use all three platforms, but Facebook, I do a lot of personal posting on my private Facebook, so everyone can see it. And that's pretty much how I have been doing everything.
Okay. So then people just started coming to you when you started posting about your success, and then they would comment on your posts, and then you would reach out to them.
Yeah, so I would mainly do, I would just post consistently. So that's the biggest thing that I think people were just seeing it and seeing it and seeing it. And then they're like, okay, what is this? So anyone that liked my posts, I would message them. Anyone that commented, oh, this is awesome, I would message them. And then I also made a list when I first started of people who could use Plexus, and then made sure to reach out to those people, and it just kind of grew from there. And I would just make sure to post consistently on that when I first started.
Okay, awesome. So tell me a little bit more about when you reach out to somebody, how do you get that conversation started with them? What are some
the biggest thing? What?
What are some of the questions you ask, or how do you initiate that conversation with them for the people that have commented on your posts?
So I would reach out to them. If it doesn't say like, most of them will say, oh my gosh, what is this? Or I need this, or something like that. If they would say that, I would message them and first ask out what their goals that's always the first thing that I ask. I'm like, hey, girlfriend, like, what? I saw that you commented. What are your biggest goals? And then most of them will just straight up say, I need to lose weight. I have anxiety. They'll straight up normally tell me. And then from there, I will say, that's amazing. I totally feel you. I was in this exact same position. Liza, I know that you have preached the felt, feel, the 3 Fs.
Felt, feel,
And
felt.
yeah, I use that every single person pretty much that I talk to. And that has been a huge success with me. But the first thing I ask is the goals, and then you kind of get into, well, have you ever heard of Plexus? Do you know much about it? And then I kind of explain that we're an all-natural, like, plant-based products, and I explain everything about Plexus then, and it leads and kind of tumbles from there.
Okay, awesome. We have questions coming in, and I'm going to address those questions at the end, but great questions, and keep them coming. So that's great. So you and I kind of talked last Monday night about the 17 new customers that you got last month. And you talked about how you got some of those customers, and they weren't necessarily people that had ever commented or liked one of your posts. So how did that come about?
So I was watching a Diamond video, and she mentioned to do cold messaging. And of course, all of us have heard about cold messaging before. And I was never one to be, I was always just nervous to do that, because what if somebody doesn't want it? What if somebody doesn't answer? Like, to me now, I just am, I would rather reach out and put myself out there and help someone rather than get denied at this point. So I start ABC messaging how I got these last 17 ambassadors, is ABC messaging. So you go through your friends list through the alphabet. So right now I think I'm on the D's. So my biggest thing is that I went through all of my A's literally down the line, and I would message them, hey, I'm sure you've seen my Plexus post by now. Have you ever tried, or have you ever tried the products before? And of course, some don't reply, and then some are like, yeah, I've been meaning to message you, but I just haven't, or what is it? And then, so I got 17 new customers last month from just cold messaging people that I've never, ever talked to in my life. So that was how I got those, is just cold messaging.
And that's awesome. And so how do you go about recommending products for them?
I would just go, I always pretty much suggest the triplex if they say that. Like, I know, Liza, we talked about how you ask them, well, how's your sleep? How's your digestion? How is your anxiety? You kind of go through the questionnaire. I do the same thing, but mainly in like a big paragraph. So when we first start talking, I say, what are your goals? And then I ask them kind of what they struggle with. And if they say most of the stuff, like sleep, the fatigue, the energy, the weight loss, I normally point them to the triplex. If they say the only thing that I want to do is lose weight, and I want to lose weight fast, I normally tell them to do the Slim Accelerator Block combo. But normally I always suggest the triplex, kind of like a starter package. But of course,
I think that's the best way to go.
Yeah, but of course, like, I have some people that say they have pain and they want the vital biome. So sometimes I suggest other things, but normally 99.9% I always do triplex.
Yeah, for sure. I do too. And, Brianna talks about how to converse with people through messaging, and she's got a way of doing it. I've got a way of doing it. Everybody on here has a way of, kind of handling that conversation. And what I typically do is if somebody reaches out to me or I reach out to them, and they express some interest, I kind of start with, okay, so tell me, how do you sleep? And then I wait for them to answer. How's your energy level? And I wait for them to respond. And I just kind of keep building up that need. Do you struggle with any digestive issues? Wait for them to respond. Do you struggle with any anxiety or depression? And I wait for them to respond. Any joint pain, wait for them to respond. Because and then I will say to them, I apologize for all the questions, but I'm really trying to figure out what would be the best fit for you. Which of our products would be the best fit? 9 times out of 10, it's going to be that they need the triplex, because everybody needs to focus on their gut health.
Yeah.
So that's how I try and get them conversing back and forth, because I really feel that that's what helps build the value in their mind, and it helps avoid the cost objection for me anyway. That is what has worked for me. Do you ever get the cost objection, and how do you deal with it?
Oh yeah, I'm sure every single person gets it. It's difficult sometimes to go around it, but the biggest thing for me is what's more important. I mean, the sodas you're drinking and the times you're going out to McDonald's, or your health. So I've gotten a lot of that conversation, not necessarily in the last couple months, which has been surprising, but I think it's the way that I switched the way that I talk to them. Now I focus on, all the things that it can do, and it doesn't really have time to be like, wait, this sounds horrible. Like they're not going to say that. So I think I got that more in the beginning of the business, where I just kind of was like, well, here, why don't you try the products? And now I kind of changed the way I chat with them. But when that comes up, I normally explain that we do have a 60-day money-back guarantee with less than a 1% return rate. I bring that up, and then I bring up, how are you on any medications right now? The cost of all of your medications versus what you can be off of those if you're treating your gut health and all of your health issues from the root. So I mean, I kind of explain all of that. But normally I bring up the 60-day money-back guarantee if they do bring up a money issue, and then they're like, oh, okay, so I have that safety blanket, and then they just end up loving it anyways. So that's normally, okay. I mean, I don't get it too often, but when I do, that's normally the cure for it.
Yeah. Okay, good. Yeah, that's how I don't normally hear that objection, but when I do, then I really just try and turn it around and say, okay, well, how much have you budgeted for starting to feel better? And kind of turn it around that way.
Yeah.
But like I said, and you have a good way of handling it about, eating fast food or, going out to eat. If you cut out a couple of those things, you would be able to budget for this for a month. And then after a month, you'll see, or 2 months, you'll see how awesome you feel. So that's great.
Yeah. I do get people that's a tricky one. I wouldn't use that on everyone. Right. I only use that with people that I'm close to.
Yeah, you have to pay attention to your audience.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Because that could drive someone the other way, but
yeah, exactly. So this month already you've signed, what is it, 8 or 9 new ambassadors?
It'll be 9 tonight, but officially 8.
Okay, so 9 after tonight. Where are you getting these new ambassadors from?
I started from those 17 customers. I already have people that are obsessed with the products and messaging me that they're feeling like a new person. So 5 of those are customers from last month that then are going to be promoting these products and sharing the products. And then 5, 6, 7, 8, and then 3 more are people that are just brand new, that I've been posting a lot of personal things about the business and working from home now that I was able to stop my job. So I've been having messages coming in like, wait, how can I work from home? Can you really make a profit off of this? Can you do that? And then I have 3 of those that are just in it for the paychecks and the business side of it. But most of them are customers that just love the products that then turned into ambassadors.
So all of these customers were from last month, or do you have some that were on the products for a couple months?
Oh, yeah, no. I have someone that tried the products, 8 months ago, and then she stopped taking the products, and then I just knew that she was in a kind of tough financial situation, so I reached out to her and I was like, I can help you. I can lead you. And you can get products for free, because at the time she wasn't able to afford products. But I knew they changed her life. So I messaged her and I was like, you know what, let's do this. Like, let's go for it. So some of these people, I think 2 of them were people that have been customers for the last like up to 8 months.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how do you start that conversation with them about having them join as an ambassador instead of being a preferred customer?
If they've been on, normally I bring it up if I know that they love the products. And I will kind of explain that it's a special thing to be an ambassador. So I normally say that have you ever thought about getting your products for free? And then they will normally say, well, I mean, obviously, or what does that mean? And then I'll kind of go into it. Well, I have been watching you and you qualify for being an ambassador. And what that means is that you can earn your products for free and you'll get a discount on your products. And it's just kind of I always explain the family. So on my end, I always explain that we have such a big support system and a family that comes with it, because a lot of times that's not how it is in these businesses. It's not. So I always kind of reassure that. And then I say that there's private groups. There's, I just explain that if you can get your products for free and help other people at the same time, I don't know why you wouldn't.
Right.
But in the beginning, I normally just ask, have you ever thought about getting your products for free?
That's
and then
awesome.
most of them will kind of just say, what do you mean? And then we'll bring it up. And sometimes it freaks them out to hear the word ambassador. But then I kind of just say, think of it as a Costco membership. And a lot of people switch their mindset when they say, oh, okay, so it's not, I don't know. So if I say, think of it as a Costco membership, it's $34.95 for the entire year. You get the cheapest products. You get to make money off of it if you want to. And all this stuff. I mean, it's just smart. If you're doing it anyways, if you're getting the products, why? I don't know. That's obviously why we're all ambassadors. But yeah.
So when you say qualify, what do you mean qualify? How do you tell them that they would qualify as an ambassador?
If they have their auto ship on, and then if they have over 100 PV a month. And I always tell them that they have to, in order to be an ambassador and to qualify for an ambassador, that they have to be consistently ordering 100 PV a month. So they're kind of committing to ordering 100 PV a month or over. And then I always explain to them that their auto ship has to be on. Just as a reminder, I was like, you never want to miss a product. Since consistency is key, so make sure you have that auto ship on. And then I always tell them to order a welcome kit. So that's in the qualifications, unless they've already ordered for that month. But yeah, those are the biggest ones that I have to qualify.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And I think putting it that way really can help you in the future when somebody decides to turn off their auto ship and then they're only ordering $50 or $75 a month. Because you're always going to have ambassadors that do that. But if you have that conversation with them up front, saying this is how you qualify, and kind of getting them to understand that they're agreeing to this, they're agreeing that in order for you to offer them to be an ambassador, that they need to continue with the 100 or more PV, and they can get that from customers as well. So you teaching them about getting their products for free is awesome. But also having that auto ship on, I mean, those two things are really important. And I don't think anybody should ever be afraid of saying that to somebody. This is your small business that you are trying to build. And if somebody goes back to ordering just $50 or $75, then they can go back to being a preferred customer if they choose. Because if they're not ordering the 100 minimum PV, you are not going to make a dime from them. And this is your small business. This is what you are building for your future. And you don't have to feel like you need to apologize for that. But I think that's a great way to start that conversation with somebody, is saying, you know, you qualify already for this. It just makes sense for you to join as an ambassador and get your products for wholesale like I do. But you need to continue doing this. Otherwise, then then you can go back to being a preferred customer. So I think that's awesome.
And like you said, that to not be afraid to say that. In the beginning, I did not say that. So that's where, in the beginning, I've had so many people that tried it for a month, but I was like, here, just join as ambassador first, because I just didn't know all the details at first. But yeah, it's a huge thing to tell them, you know, this is affecting me too. This is a privilege to be an ambassador. It's a privilege to be able to do all of this stuff. Right. So yeah, definitely not being afraid to say that has helped me a ton.
Well, you're doing awesome, and I know you're going to go gold very soon. I know you'll be gold before convention. So thank you for sharing all of this. I want to go, we're running out of time. We only have 6 minutes left. We might go a few minutes over, but I want to go over some of these questions. Somebody asked, what were you, let's see, wait a minute. Where is it? What were you messaging them? And I think you did cover that, but if you want to do your quick message to the people that you reached out to last month, that would be great.
Yeah, I just say, hey Becky, I'm sure you've seen my Plexus post by now. Have you ever tried it? Something super, super simple and sweet.
Super simple. And how many people do you think respond to you?
I probably messaged like 70 people, and I've had like 45 probably message me back, 50.
Okay, awesome.
Okay, that's a bit extreme. I don't think I've messaged 70 people, but yeah, probably in that range of like the ratio.
You move forward now, as you're going through the alphabet, that's what you're doing though. When you are looking at your friends list, because somebody asked, you know, where are you finding these people to cold message? And it's off of your friends, correct?
Yeah, I just go to messaging and I type in A, and I literally just click on the first person, the second person, the third, and I just go through it.
And just a simple message just like that. Very easy.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Somebody asked, so a lot of people like posts. What would you reach out and say to that person?
Hey girl, I see that you have seen what I just posted on Plexus. Do you struggle with the same things I do? Or if it's something about working from home, I say, are you interested in working from home? Or, a lot of my stuff is about how much weight I've lost, or how much, like, my journey that way. And I'll message them and say, hey, thank you for the love on my post. Have you ever been interested in Plexus before? Something like, thanks for giving me love. And then ask them.
Yeah, that's awesome. Something. That's awesome. And you do a lot of really personal posts. I don't see you sharing a lot of posts or copying, pasting a lot of other people's posts. Maybe you do. Yeah. I just haven't seen them. I see mostly really personal posts that you do. And I think really people respond better to those than they do from maybe all of the other Plexus posts that people see. Another thing that I wanted to ask you real quick, do you ever join any groups on Facebook, and have you found any people from there?
Not a ton. I don't really do, like, I have like Mom Swap. In South Carolina, I have like all of the Mom Swap pages. I don't know if you guys if everyone knows what that is, but it's kind of like a buy, sell, trade thing, and I'll sometimes post in there, but I don't want to be like abusing the right to be in there. So normally I rarely have joined groups.
But
sometimes I'll post. What?
You've joined a POTS group.
Yeah, I actually I made that. That's my own group. Oh. Yeah, and I have so I have a group with a bunch of POTS, which is what I have, and I have I have like 2,000 members in that. So my biggest thing is adding people from my POTS group so they can see my normal.
Oh, okay.
Posts, so I like adding people from groups, but I normally am not big into posting in groups.
Right. No, and I understand that, but that's great if you can friend people from the groups, because they will see you in or on your.
Yeah, and sometimes you get the message, do I know you? And that's a huge, good opening. That's like an opportunity knocking on your front door. Like,
And
it's
what
awesome.
will you
So,
say when you hear that?
like, do I know you?
Yeah, what do you say to that?
Well, if it's in my POTS group, it's different because I'm like, oh, whatever. Like, I'll say something like, hey, like, I'm the owner of the POTS group. But if it's someone random, I'm like, oh no, I just saw that we have a similar interest in fitness, and I just love sharing like journeys with someone else, or I love keeping up with other people that have the same interest as me.
That's awesome. I love that.
Yeah, something silly like that.
No, I think that's great. Okay, another question. How do you deal with the crickets after multiple times reaching out to an individual, especially when they say they want to order and they haven't?
Oh yeah, that's the worst. Um, my biggest thing is if it's too many times, I mean, I just would give it a break. But I had someone just last week that they're like, I just want to order the triplex. My paycheck is on Thursday. So I messaged them on Thursday. I was like, hey, are you ready to order? This is going to be awesome. And then no response, but they read it. And then I would message them. I think I messaged them that night again, and I was like, hey, just wondering if you had any questions on ordering. No reply. And then I think I'd wait like 2 days, and I'm like, just checking in if you had any questions or if you ever got that order processed. And then if they just read it, I just would leave it for, a while. And then I would say like 2 weeks later, I would message them again and just kind of see. But from there, they're obviously reading it. So.
Right. Yeah, and I mean, it has to be in their own time. But I think
Yeah.
follow-up is huge. So I don't think reaching out again is a big deal. If you, don't hound them, obviously, but especially if you found like a testimony that might relate to one of their health issues, say, hey, I was just thinking about you. I ran across this testimony today. I just thought I'd shoot it over to you. And they still may not respond, but it's
That's
putting
huge,
that in their head, and you're planting seeds. So.
Well, and you're showing that you care. Like, that's huge. So yeah, I agree.
Right. We went over this one. What do you say initially in your cold message? And then where did you get the names of the people you were cold messaging? So that was from your friends list, and you're just starting through A, B, C. You're just doing it that way.
Yeah.
Let's see here. We went over what if I can't afford the products. If they come back to you again and say, what, I just can't afford it. Do you?
Yeah, then, if I'm starting out triplex and they have gut issues, go down and go, okay, then maybe look at BioCleanse and ProBio 5. If that's not, there's always options for them to get some help.
I agree with you. And I think that's a great way to do it. And I think saying, I heard it from a Diamond or somebody else. Okay, I completely understand. I felt the same way. But what I found, that whole statement. But if they still don't want to, you could say, okay, how much have you budgeted for your health? And maybe try it that way.
Normally if
open up a little bit.
Yeah, I say, do you have a budget that you were looking to spend? If that's like I can't, then it's sometimes they're like, oh, $75. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like, okay. So sometimes their budget is higher than people think. But definitely kind of getting them to open up.
Okay. Another one, this is a good question. What apps do you use to create all your posts? Because they're very creative, and they are. You're awesome.
Oh, thank you. Thanks. I use Canva, Canva. That's huge. I love Canva. And then I also use the app Over, Over. And that one is easy too. You literally can just scroll through ideas, make them your own. You can put pictures in them. So yeah, those are the two that I make. And then I also go on Instagram, and I love doing that stuff. I was a manager for a marketing company. I love that. So if any of you guys ever need posts, let me know. I can make them for you.
Awesome.
But yeah, those are the two that I use the most.
So Canva, they have a website and they have an app, correct?
Yep. And then Over is just on your phone.
Okay.
But yeah, Canva, you can use it either or.
Okay. Yeah, and I use it on my computer, canva.com. And
Yeah, that one's it's
once you
easiest
play
that
around
way.
with it, it's really pretty easy.
Yeah, I love it.
So, somebody asked, what's the name of your POTS group? One of my ambassadors is dealing with it with her daughter.
Oh, awesome. Well, it's not awesome, but yeah. POTS Workout and Fitness. It should pop right up. But yeah, and always if you guys have questions, if you know anyone dealing with any POTS or any autoimmune or anything, you can send me a message and I will help explain what I deal with. And kind of, I have like 3 ambassadors from our team that messaged me asking about POTS. And I voice message them explaining what products and how it'll help POTS. So message me if anyone has any questions for their customers.
Awesome. Okay, I'm going to stop recording.